Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Mark's at Walmart, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It's the weekend. So today is dark roast and unsweetened vanilla almond milk and a little bit of the pink stuff in it. I've gotten very lazy with my coffee creations. And of course an unfinished basement and an unfinished attic because it is 85 to 90 degrees and it's just too damn hot. So we're going skinny on top. So, hope everyone's well, everyone's safe. You all know what's going on. So, look after yourselves, look after the people you care about, consider people you haven't met yet and how they might be doing. That's my PSA. Okay? We'll probably touch on a little bit more later because our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, shared some of her thoughts on current events in the US and frankly at the world around the world at this point. So we'll get into some of that. Where we left off. Oh, before I forget. I didn't want to put it in the back. I'm always afraid the background will burn down. We left off, Foodie Beauty, Chantal, kind of last week was dealing with moderation as far as her eating went. Kind of loosely as a way of eating, at least on camera. She's found a favorite in edibles, it seems like. The chocolate edibles, too, which who can blame her? And then there was like 3 hours of live streaming in the middle of it, God bless her. So it wasn't a super eventful week, nothing really stuck out too much. So the first video going into this week that I saw, Kylie Jenner inspired shrimp tostadas mukbang and story time. So she has the munchies. I don't have the ring on, so it shouldn't be glaring too much. Let's see. She's interested in making Kylie Jenner's favorite tacos. I don't give a flying about Kylie Jenner. Couldn't be bothered. Having said that, these tostadas looked fantastic. Ugh, Chantal can cook. Chantal can cook. I would let her cook for me any day. Except for the cats on the counter. I know it's a personal thing. It was tostada, lettuce, shrimp, guacamole, cheese, sour cream, salsa. Now, these things were flat and puffed up. It was about the thickness of a softball with all the toppings. She was kind of buzzed out. I'm assuming THC, the edibles. And she said that's kind of a challenge probably because she gets cravings when she's high. Yes, it's very challenging, not that I recall anything from college, to try to maintain your diet when you have the munchies. However, there is something to be said for eating healthy food when you do have the munchies because everything tastes a little better. All the flavors are magnified. So a Greek yogurt with some berries can go down like a roast beef sandwich. Sort of. If you have your mind around it when you're a little under the influence. Just saying. It's a thought, it's an idea. It's something that I had experienced when I used to a little more regularly engage in the same kind of activities. She talked a story time, a TMI story time, and frankly for her TMI story times this was relatively tame. She told a story about going to camp as a kid, like brownies, and then there was one called Pathfinders. I guess it was for like mid-teens, somewhere around there. And her mother would get mad at her because Chantal would get very excited and want to join things and get gung-ho and then quit them shortly after. Tragic foreshadowing. My parents, I joined things and would stay in them for a few years and hated them. I remember, going to play on the basketball league at the YMCA, and one year I was really excited, and the next year, the first day, I had a meltdown and I had to go home. Little League, I did the same thing. I played baseball up until I was about 12, and then couldn't be bothered, wanted to quit. I wanted to do karate, I wanted to take piano lessons, but I think they were hesitant to invest money because I would quit things pretty quick, too. Some kids do that. Not all kids do. Some kids have, a different level of discipline. I did not. So she's telling a story about camp, and apparently there was one camp leader they all kind of picked on, and Chantal concedes that she was in with the mean girls, and was picking on this woman who apparently looked like Chris Farley, and had chin hair, and Chantal acknowledges her own karma, because she has some hairs on her chinny chin now, too. This person apparently was stingy with the badges, you get the sash with the badges when you do a scout type thing, and Chantal was having trouble with the knots, tying all the different kind of knots like you're a sailor, and she couldn't get it together, and she was like, why don't you just give me the patch already? Where would I even use it anyway? I was never in Boy Scouts. I was never interested in being in Boy Scouts. I never wanted to be a Boy Scout. My parents never even suggested going into Boy Scouts, actually. So either they didn't think it was important, it was too expensive, or they didn't approve. I don't know. So she talked about the last trip that they went on with her scout troop before her mother finally let her not participate anymore. And apparently they went out in the woods, and there was a big, long cabin, and they were separated by gender, so it was all women. And mean girl stuff going on. Chantal was kind of on the outside of all of it, from what it sounded like, just watching. Two mean girls both like the same guy. They start bickering and fighting. One of her friends gets sick from the meatloaf they're all apparently eating day after day, and evacuates her bowels at a campfire. Two of the women who are screaming and fighting at each other in the cabin, one makes a comment about the other's feminine odor. They apparently became friends again and attacked another mean girl. So with all this going on, Chantal told her mother, and her mother let her quit. So that's good for her. I don't think she wanted to be there anyway, so that's okay. Next, McDonald's McChicken Combo Car Mukbang featuring special guest. McDonald's. Now, pause, gave me pause. She said she hasn't been eating out as much. I know she said her and Pete's were going to be giving each other accountability with this. Right, Pete's? So, not that she has to run all her food past him. I mean, he's not her father, he's not her doctor, he's not her god. But I'm curious as to how that's going. Can you hear the kitty? He's hot too. He's dragging his toys around. She had one meal, not three, and she did have a Diet Coke. So, there's something to be said for replacing the bad with the better. Is it the best thing she could have ordered at McDonald's? No, but we're talking about going from eating 3 meals to 1 meal with a calorie-free beverage, assuming she didn't buy anything else. When you have an eating disorder and you're trying to hide that, or it's something you're not proud of, people who with addictions and disorders have a kind of Houdini sort of thing where they lie and trick people. I only say that because I've done it. So it's possible she wasn't telling the truth. But I'll go with the fact that maybe she was. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to downsize. So yeah, she just got a chicken sandwich and some fries. That's fine. The reason I think it's also a big deal for her is that she more than just, I mean, people will make an argument that she capitalizes off her eating disorder on her channel, and you could make a good argument either way, because she's identified as having an issue and then overeats on camera and monetizes it, and then trickle down, I talk about it and I monetize it. I mean, it's a lot of people are benefiting from the fact that she has food issues. Her too. But I think back to the sad parts about it that she discloses. She doesn't talk about it too much in a way, it's kind of sometimes... All I can remember is the pizza boxes that BB found in the closet. To me, that's shame. To me, that's the shame of an addiction and a disorder. I used to hide my liquor bottles, empties, in my apartment. And I lived alone, but I would hide them in the closet and put them under the sink. I don't know why. I mean, you could tell what day of the month it was, because you could go first, second, third. There was that many empty bottles around. I've known people who would binge and purge and actually keep what they purged in their home and only throw it out once a month. They would keep it in Ziploc bags or put it in jars. I don't mean to get gross, but what I'm saying is, with food issues, there's a lot of shame. And with shame comes hiding and lying. So, it wouldn't surprise me if she wasn't being truthful. I'd be very happy for her if she was sticking to it. Because it's hard. And I mean, oh God, trying to have a little McDonald's when you're all but addicted to it. She's rolling the dice, but, So she had to get up early this day and go to, I want to say, the dermatologist. She had some sort of skin inflammation. They gave her some steroid cream. She said she had a therapy appointment, which gave me, again, pause, because I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe last, she mentioned in a live stream she doesn't really like therapy. She doesn't trust therapists. She doesn't want to talk to a therapist. And now she's going. She says she's talking to said therapist about her food issues, her concerns. It's painful to realize how it's ruining her life. So she says she's having a hard time with that. Okay. I mean, either she's had a change of heart or she's not telling the truth. I hope change of heart. I found therapy helpful. I have mental health issues. I've had food issues. So therapy is not the fix. It doesn't fix everything, but it helps a little. So, and she said she's just dealing with a lot, taking steps to get things done, to be productive, manageable, pieces, manageable tasks, but it's good. Let's see. And she's feeding seagulls French fries. And one of them is staring at her. This was the special guest in this video, I think. She's chucking fries out the window at a seagull. Seagulls are weird, okay? I say weird because of this. Well, I've had weird experiences with seagulls. This is a sidetrack. The town I grew up in is a very small town. And in northeastern Pennsylvania, we are about 100 miles away from the ocean. We would have seagulls circling in the parking lot, eating French fries from the local Burger King. How did they get there? The best explanation anyone ever came up with, which wasn't very good, was that they were traveling with the garbage that we get from New Jersey that gets landfilled in Pennsylvania, and they were stuck in the compactors, and then they were free. I don't know. But at any rate, she feeds them some stuff. She contemplates feeding them peanuts. She's not sure because she has some. And she continues to eat. She had to take Timbit to the vet, and luckily Timbit, Pete's cat, now theirs, I guess, had a paw condition that's highly treatable. It's not as serious as maybe it could have been, so that's a good thing. She got one of the good food. It's kind of like a Hello Fresh meal kits that she planned to cook that night. Let's see. And she talks about the McDonald's meal not being enough. I looked at Mark, who looked at me, who looked at her, and we all got it all at once. This is kind of one of those weeks where, like, on food issues, I'm like right here with her. So she went and she ordered her meal, and she ate it. And in the back of your head, you know, she's like, it's not enough food, it's not enough food. I don't eat fast food often. And it's not difficult for me not to, actually, but I really do like it. So when I would go to McDonald's, I would usually get the 10-piece chicken McNugget, large fries, large soda, Diet Coke, of course, and 2 McDoubles. And as soon as she said 2 McDoubles, I'm like, I get it. I get it. Because there's a build-up around a meal when you have a food fixation. There's an excitement about it. The first bite, I said that annoys the fuck out of me. But I kind of know the feeling she's expressing. You know, and then when you get into it, it's not the first bite, it's the next one. And while I have one French fry in my hand, I'm eyeing which next one I want to eat. And, you know, to the point where you're almost eating with 2 hands because you're so into it. And then it gets sad because you're coming to the end of the meal and almost the whole sandwich is gone and the fries are getting cold. But then you're excited again because you remember you bought the 2 McDoubles and you can have those. And you could even stretch that out. Just have one now and they reheat pretty well and have it later. And it stretches out the experience. And the fact that the McDoubles are there makes you relax. If you have food issues, you might be, especially if it relates to binging and you're emotional about it, you might get that. I think she gets that. I get that. So, no, it's not healthy. But of course it's not healthy. It's too much thinking about something that should be very simple. But the wiring is there for it. It's totally there for it. I can't remember the last time I went to McDonald's. We have one up the street. I think we went during a blizzard because they were the only place open. So, I feel for you, Miss Foodie Beauty. Big mad. She's big mad. Now, this is where she talks about George Floyd and using her channel as a platform to send a message, to offer support, whatever. She released this 6 hours after Amber Lynn released a video addressing it as well. So, I don't know that there's anything to the timing. Maybe there was, but kudos to Chantal for trying to use her platform for awareness raising. She has a big audience. She's got 70,000 people, and she pulls anywhere from 20 to 70,000 views on most videos, so she has a platform to use, and congratulations on her for using it. We tried to do the same. We've got about 2,500 folks, and hopefully, you know, you can let people know this is a topic of discussion. This is something important to be thinking about and talking about. So, she uses the video as a platform to address racism, white supremacy, taking lives, and the murder of George Floyd. Her hope is that it's not in vain that the gentleman was murdered. She posted her support on Instagram and I guess got a little blowback from that, so she took the step further and put a video on her channel. She said she wishes she could go to a protest if there was one nearby, and she regrets, she didn't say the word regret, that physically she couldn't stand, probably during a protest. So, and that things like this get swept under the rug, and they get, you know, forgotten, and that we can do better. And then she says, I can do better. I is a good start. I can only change what I can do. I can only change how I act. I can encourage, model, support others, but it can only be me. It can only be what I do. So she gets that. I think she gets that too. Mark had a different interpretation of all of this, but I'll give his at the end. She told people in the comments, share organizations that can be helpful. She linked Black Lives Matter in her description. She said she's white and she can never completely understand what's going on, but that there is fundamentally something wrong in society that has to stop, and that she hopes that the officers get justice once they're in prison. I'm guessing the gentlemen who are involved in that, gentleman is the wrong choice of word, the folks, guys, people, who were arrested for this, I'm guessing they're going to be in protected custody in the prison, which is 23-hour lockdown, and you get out for an hour a day to shower or call a family member. I'm assuming their lawyers will be visiting them often. Crooked police officers, it kind of takes care of itself in prison. They're not usually met with kindness, any more than someone who is a child molester is met with kindness in prison. So that'll probably take care of itself should that come up. She wanted to use her channel and her privilege in any way to help. So, and then the last 8 minutes of the video was a moment of silence, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and there was a photo in remembrance of George Floyd. And it wasn't the video of the footage that a lot of people have seen. It was him with his son, I believe, and that was it. I thought that was a nice way to do it. I hadn't seen anybody else do it. If they have, good, but I hadn't seen anyone else do that. Now, Mark's take on this was very different. Mark said he kind of felt like maybe it wasn't sincere, or it wasn't as authentic. I don't know. If she was acting, I believed what the actress said wasn't too bad. It did have the tinge of guilty white person talking about race. Not, I don't know, just a tiny hint of that. But she may have experienced racism herself. I mean, her partner of 8 years was not white. I mean, who knows what her own experiences are. So, who's this? I don't know. At any rate, this was her homage to what was going on, and this was her contribution to it, and I think she did it in as most responsible a way as she thought she could. So that was her 2 cents. I thought it was a good effort. I thought it was good. If you have a platform, use it. So, and if people get mad at it, she's not shy about delete and block. Delete and block. Do that. If they're white supremacists, delete block report. Next video, trying Haitian food for the first time. Again, ties in. She went to Uber Eats, and apparently there was some sort of way to direct you towards black-owned businesses, I guess. So she got some Haitian food. And she wasn't really super clear on what all the dishes were. She had a little bit of a description. It looked good. Almost everything looked fried, except the peas and rice. And I don't know. It was more of a tasting than a mukbang. She didn't really finish it. She had some interesting reactions. She was like, oh, this is different. Oh, this is like nothing I've ever had before. Wow, this is really fishy. I didn't get the impression she liked half the things that she ate, but she gave it a whirl, and that's the point of trying new things. So, yeah, that was it. She also said she had the munchies. Bad. Watch the munchies. You know, I'm not passing judgment about using THC and other substances if it's legal where you are. Do it up. But it can have complications if you have issues controlling your hunger and you take a drug that alters your sense of hunger. It's challenging. It's challenging. Just to have it on the radar. Then she did a live stream and it was 2.5 hours. So her description of it was that they discussed food addiction, cats, love, and more. I went through it because it's 2.5 hours. Quick. Stopped a few places. So here's some bullet points of things I stopped on. Amberlynn Reed had gotten in touch with Chantal before anybody else. Not before anybody else, but before the video was made, to tell her about her cancer diagnosis. They're all sending positive vibes her way. Scary movies help Chantal relax. She's wearing booty shorts in this video, which we can't see. Her first mukbang, which I didn't know, was lasagna, a burger, and some limp fried zucchini. Nobody in her family has food issues except maybe her dad. She should start a plus-size clothing line, though she concedes she is not a fashion designer. And she loves Simply Sarah, too. I would come so hard for anyone who made a bad video about Simply Sarah. So hard. She doesn't even know I exist, but I would she's my girl. I've been watching her longer than I've been watching anybody else. You know, one of the first things I ever watched on YouTube was cooking videos, and I found her very quickly. And I've loved her ever since. So, last video, fake sympathy from Hater Nation. So she's a little upset. She said a lot of viewers might not like this comment, but too bad. So she describes Hater Nation, which I'm not sure I'm a part of or not. I don't think of myself as. Seems like Hater Nation is, they're more popular. I don't know. And I don't know if I want to be part of it, you know. But at any rate, a group of people who apparently are all friends and know each other and talk back and forth, and react to people like Amberlynn and Chantal. Now, there's a tone in this video which has been brought up before where Chantal closely aligns herself with Amberlynn Reid. Not to say, what am I going to say? Not that they're not like on the same level. You know, Amberlynn has a bigger channel, and I think she's been around probably twice as long as Chantal. Amberlynn's had a channel for 6-7 years? Somebody correct me. I'm sure you will. And Foodie Beauties is 3 or 4. So it's been a little bit of time. But Chantal always aligns herself like they are, well, they're not equal. They're both human beings. But like they get an equal amount of flack. They get similar flack. But I don't know if the volume of it is the same. I'm sure any amount of it coming towards Chantal probably feels like a lot because, well, she does get a lot. So they think their struggles are funny. They think we're funny. It stems from self-loathing. I felt so frustrated throughout the time on YouTube trying to humiliate others. YouTube leeches. They say they're concerned, but they aren't. I'm gonna say, I review 2 channels on our channel. We put out a video every day. And there's 2 channels that I follow. Foodie Beauty and My Little Part of the World, which used to have another name. That's on Thursdays. And I don't use their footage. And I pretty much just talk about what they've done over the last week. And to the extent that I have similar experiences, I relate. And to the extent that I don't, I discuss. And I'm snide at times, because it calls for it, I think. But I identify. When I started watching Chantal, the reason she stuck out to me was that I relate a lot to some of her twists of the mind, you know, some of that kind of stuff. So I identify with a little bit of it. I don't behave that way anymore, usually, but I'm looking up here because she's right here. But nevertheless, I'll go on. Sorry, smoke break. Got a little sidetracked. So as Chantal's going on about Hater Nation, saying they're concerned, but they aren't concerned about how Amber's doing. I don't think I qualify as Hater Nation. Even among haters, I'm not popular. This is like high school all over again. I wouldn't want to be part of a crew of people identified as haters. I'm a bad hater because I have, like, compassion sometimes. So, she said people are starting to see how wrong it is. And she holds up Charlie Gold, well, she mentions Charlie Gold's name like 8 times in talking about backpedaling. Because I know Charlie Gold does a lot of videos about Amberlynn. And I don't know Charlie's channel. All I know are things I hear about Charlie and Charlie's thumbnails, because they come up in my recommended videos. She uses unflattering pictures of Amber. She uses some language in the thumbnails I wouldn't choose to use because I think it's a little much. But I'm not Charlie Gold, and I don't run Charlie Gold's channel. And YouTube doesn't seem to have an issue, yet, anyway, with what Charlie Gold is doing. So it's not what I would watch, and it's not how I would choose to discuss anything. I think you can do a reaction and a review of a person's channel without, even if you don't like them, even if you have points of contention with what the channel's about, I still think it can be done with a little bit of tact. And it can still be funny. You know, Zachary Michael is... I've been watching Zachary Michael since he had less than, like... I think he had 3,600 views when I subscribed to him. And I always thought he was very funny. Didn't go below the belt. Maybe once or twice, but he'll apologize. He'll go back. And never went out of his way to make any of these women, who both happen to be plus size, feel like they should feel bad about themselves for being plus-size women. So I kind of, like, I took kind of a cue a little bit from that before I started, and I don't know, I just really, I don't know. I don't know. This is how my other video ended on Thursday. I don't know. There's so much uncertainty with everything that I can't find the direction of anything. I don't know which way her channel's gonna go. Fuck, we could have a smoothie fast tomorrow. I have no idea. At any rate, she is saying that now that Amber Lynn has cancer, people are being, phony nice to her. And I've seen a few backhanded lines of support that Chantal does point out that says, you know, something along the lines of, yeah, I don't like you as a person, but nobody should be struggling with cancer. That's not a very cool thing to say to somebody. It's that time of day, guys. I'm sorry. Should be talking about cancer. No, that's not okay to say to somebody. I think if you can't just offer, like, straight up support, then just leave it alone and say, I wish you well. You know, you don't have to add, I don't like you. That doesn't give comfort. That doesn't reassure anything. You know, I don't know how I'd feel if a bunch of people that hated me for any reason found out that I was sick with something and they turned around and said, we still hate you, but sorry you have cancer. I don't know that I'd find comfort in that. Like, I don't think that would make me feel better very much. I think it makes people feel better about themselves to say something like that. I think some folks are trying to appease their guilt in doing it. And whatever helps them sleep at night, they know whether or not how they treat people is right or wrong. They're shooting from their own moral compass and whether or not they feel like they've been kind or unkind or whatever over a period of time. I've only, I think, like I said, done 3 videos. It was about a year ago. I tried to get into Amber Lynn, and I couldn't. There was too much backstory. There was too much going on. And it was just not interesting. I wasn't interested in her life. Like, not that I don't care what happens to her, I mean, as much as any other human being, but I didn't find her life interesting. There was nothing going on there that I thought was cool. The reason I was drawn to Chantal is because she had issues with food, she had some mental health concerns, and she, you know, reminded me more of the kind of girl I would have hung out with when I was in college, you know, something like that. Yeah, she's got some issues, and some serious ones, but by and large, you know, she'd be invited. That's kind of how Chantal is. And every once in a while, you have to have that real person, heart to heart, where it's like, honey, I love you. We gotta speak though, you know. So she's kind of upset that Amber's getting support. She thinks it's backhanded. She doesn't think it's sincere. And she thinks Charlie Gold should particularly shut her damn mouth. And she mentions, like I said, Charlie 7 or 8 times. Chantal's disgusted it took a cancer diagnosis for people to be nice to Amber Lynn. She's glad she's getting support now. However, it shouldn't have taken something that extreme to do it. I wonder if people on YouTube can kind of distance it. Like, this is real life, and this is YouTube life. And talking crap about someone for stuff that goes on YouTube isn't bad, but real life is. Like, Amber Lynn would... This is an argument I think that could be made. Amber Lynn would have cancer right now, whether or not she was a YouTuber. So that's not a YouTube issue. That's her real life. That's something that's actually happening to her. That's not a YouTube concern. The feedback she's getting from YouTube, I think, is mixed. I don't think hate helps anything ever, generally, especially not, you know, a cancer diagnosis. Nobody should be saying anything along the lines of, you did this to yourself, as far as I'm concerned. That's not helpful right now, and Amber, some people are built for trauma and built for tragedy, and some people are gung-ho, like, yes, I got diagnosed, but we're gonna fight this, and I have family and friends, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm a warrior. Her meltdown on camera, to me, indicates that she's much more vulnerable, much more fragile emotionally, and really needs, God forgive me, a safe space. Somewhere where she won't be, bombarded with too much stimuli. Because I'm not sure she's built for it. And that's out of concern. Yes, it's out of concern for another vulnerable human being. I think the reason I connect with Chantal is because I think she's kind of a vulnerable human being underneath the brassiness and the TMI stories and all that kind of stuff. I think that probably is the bottom line. We have a lot of the same issues in common. We just arrive at different conclusions about how to address them. And those are usually the most points of contention I have with her. But it's her journey. It's her channel. It's not mine. And, it's that hot that the glasses sweat and fall off. Plus, there's no hair holding them up. I guess I'll leave it there. The last thing Chantal said that stuck out is that she's gonna kind of, I don't know, because there's no direction gonna go towards Amberlynn, it's gonna kind of, no one's gonna be reacting to her for a while, at least. That the attention's gonna skew over to Chantal. That's very well possible that that could happen. So I guess, you know, we'll see. I don't know in reaction to that what Chantal may or may not do. I don't know if there'll be more videos. I don't know if there'll be more provocative videos in the interest of creating views. Her mukbangs are really popular. I don't know if she'll pull people from over there and go back to doing something a little more grand, or if she'll still try to, you know, portray or do something in the interest of her health, like her moderate eating and stuff like that. So I have no idea where we'll be this time next week. Does anybody? I mean, you never really know the future, but like, has the last couple of weeks really pounded it into anyone's head that we really don't know the future of what's going to be coming up? So, I don't know. Well wishes with no caveats for both ladies. I guess we'll just see what the next week brings. Smoothie Fast? Your guess is as good as mine. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button and the bell on your way out so you get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact info is all listed down below. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone. Stay cool. Be safe. Take care of each other, okay? Bye.